the 4K 60p on there, I will raise my eyebrow and say, maybe I would consider it. So we take a look at the updated rumors on the A7C. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's That One Camera Guy, back at again with another video for you, and the launch event for this camera is coming out soon, apparently in a couple days, so I wanted to go ahead and chime in on it prior to it launching. Now, I've been a bit out of the loop for a little while because I've been busy with some other projects, so haven't really had time to digest and think about this camera. Now, I think I gave my thoughts on it in a prior video a couple weeks back, but now with more images and new information, I wanted to go ahead and update my opinion on this particular camera, what I think about it, and whether or not you should consider getting it, or in retrospect, more along the lines of whether it would pique my interest anyway. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So over on Sony Offer Rumors, we've got this post here, I guess from cameraspecs.net, that Sony Offer Rumors posted, and giving some size comparisons. So I think most of you are familiar with the full frame body already to a degree, and also the APS-C body in terms of size and comparison. So it's pretty good for you to see sort of the dimensions of what's changing. Pretty much the width is similar. The height is definitely getting chopped off because of that EVF, or where the EVF stand is going to be sliced from there, and then the depth, so it's going to be even thinner than prior to that. So moving over here, we have an image that's overlaid over the A7 III, so you can kind of see a reference there. But the interesting one is this one here with the A6600, as well as the A7C. So from here, we actually get a better picture of how close they are in relation to the A6600, because the 6600 is a little bit beefier than your typical one because it has the NPF-Z battery placement for it, but it's still a very compact camera. It feels a little bit chunkier than the 6400, for example, but it is still very compact. So just imagine a full frame camera, a full frame body in this particular form factor. I think it's fascinating, and I really don't know for the market for it necessarily, but that's where Sony looks like they're going with this particular concept. Now, I do know that they mentioned sort of who the target audience, which we'll get into in a second here. So moving along down the lines here, on the measurement side, again, everything pretty much is very similar to the A6600, so it's probably going to feel heavier, though, I would imagine, with all the internal components. So that'll be very interesting. All right, scooting on down here. All right, so now we have some better images and also the lens lineup here. When I saw this lens, I thought it was a little bit interesting. We're looking at a 28mm to 60mm lens, f4 to 5.6. You know, it's not great in terms of what it offers as far as like a 28 to 60 at f4 to 5.6. But I guess the advantage is the smaller compact size if you want the full frame capabilities. And it's not as wide as, for example, the kit lens that comes with the APS-C body, and you get a little bit more reach with the basic kit lens. But again, the advantage here, you're getting a full frame sensor, and you're also taking advantage of E-mount. Now, that was something I was actually worried about before, was whether or not it would stick with E-mount. So if we jump back over here, I think one discussion, well, actually was a concern of mine, was whether or not they were going to completely set up a brand new mount, which I'm glad they didn't do that. So obviously, we're going to stick with the E-mount going forward still. And then the flip-out screen concept. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back side of the camera now. If I can zoom in here even just a little bit without this ad coming in the way. The only thing I would say is a little bit kind of a miss might be the actual joystick. I think some people have mentioned that as well. I mean, it's not necessarily a deal breaker, I would say. Now, granted, if the touch menu interface can compensate for the missing joystick, I think it's fine. I mean, it's not like, okay, well, first of all, there's no joystick on here, and I've managed just fine on this particular device, so it's not like an end-of-the-world type scenario. So I think as long as they have a very similar and capable touchscreen interface like the A7S III, which unfortunately I haven't had a chance to use yet because I'm waiting like everybody else is. But you know, I think that's the route to go, right? So just hopefully all their other elements that are there. But in terms of button and layout and how it looks, it appears to be the same. Everything else looks pretty good. Hopefully the build is pretty decent, especially because of the price point, which we'll talk about in a second here. So that's what we're looking at right here, folks. We got the little EVF on the left-hand side. Now, granted, I thought there was not going to be an EVF, and I think the initial rumor said that. But now that there is one there, I do like that because not every time you're going to be using the back of the screen. I would say for its uses, it would be nice to have an EVF to be able to check your clips, your pictures, especially when you're shooting outdoors. I think for a lot of you, you do use the EVF. Like I use it to play back images, and I look inside and I check. And it's a really great asset to have, and I'm really glad they didn't get rid of it. So let's go ahead and move on down here. And again, there's the flip out screen coming out to the side again. I think that's great. I think that move is a good move. That's my opinion, though. Let me know what you think. Colorway wise, I kind of dig it. I don't know if people dig this look. I kind of dig that colorway, but let me know. Let me know down below if you hate it. Now, something interesting is that side door panel there. Wow, that's interesting. Very curious to see kind of what they do. It's very slightly different than the 6600. I'm hoping that they do squeeze in all the same things that they were able to squeeze in here. So hopefully they've got, these ports, the headphone and the mic port at least, along with the HDMI ports and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into the specs here. I think it's kind of where it gets really important. Oh, they even have the weight already, 509 grams. Okay. All right. 24 megapixels, so I guess they were saying similar to the A7 III. In-body camera shake correction that realizes a maximum of 5 steps of correction effect. I wonder if they're going to take advantage of maybe like the gyroscope stuff that was being used on the A7S III. I think that'd be really handy, especially if it's being used as a vlogging tool. Maximum about 10 frames per second seems like the standard they're always using. 3-inch touch panel, vari-angle liquid LCD, NPF Z100 battery, so you get that. 2 a.m. London time announcement. Autofocus algorithm similar to the A7S III. This one was a little bit disappointing in my opinion, the 4K 30p. I would have liked to at least have seen 4K 60. Body shape similar to the 6600. IBIS, USB Type-C, thank goodness. Single SD card slot. Well, first of all, that's a rumor. That could change. Single SD card slot. Oof. Hopefully it's a UHS 2 card slot. I hope it's... Yeah, I'm hoping for that. Alright. I think that's pretty much it in terms of specs and specifications, saying mic and headphone jack. So it's got that going for itself. Camera will be targeted towards vloggers and YouTubers. Alright, so there we go with the information. My thoughts on this camera and whether or not I'll consider getting it. I think the price is really the issue here at around 20. If it's going to come out like at 2200 US dollars, I don't know, folks. I don't really see it. I don't really see it worth the money at that price point. The price could be different. Now, if they all of a sudden, and the specs information's wrong, and they say there is 4K 60p, and you get similar codecs to the A7S III, you get some of their HEVC codecs or higher bitrate options, then now we're talking, right? So, but if you come to this show like this with just 4K 30, flip out screen, which we've been asking for a long time, and you don't deliver the goods on the video side, especially if they're saying this is going to be a vlogging tool, YouTuber tool, and you're going to come to the party this week on the video side of things, I don't know, man. I'm just being brutally honest. Like, this is ridiculous. So, yeah, it's going to appeal to some people. I get it. I guess Sony's mindset is like this. Well, we don't want to keep... Look, this is a criticism of Sony, right? We know they haven't been making many lenses for the APS-C system, right? They just haven't been doing that. I think the last one was like the 70 to 350 or something like that. There was another one, I could be wrong, the 1650 f2.8, so they finally got something like that. By the way, I like that lens. I did try it out. I rented it out. Great lens, right? But they haven't really been making as much effort on APS-C than they have on full frame. So I think that they're probably thinking, oh, well, we'll just bring out a compact camera for the vloggers so they can buy their really expensive full-frame lenses that cost over thousands and thousands of dollars for them to adapt to this small form factor. First, like I said, I think it's great. They're going to hit a target market and niche, but I think it's one of those things where, well, we're just going to neglect the APS-C here and just kind of, push you over here to buy more of the full-frame E-mount glass so you can take advantage of it on your full-frame E-mount body. Well, that's my take on it. I know they're probably going to pull some strings. I'll do another video later on once everything is out about it and see what ends up being the game plan for Sony on it. But really, if you come out to the gate and you don't really integrate any of those new video features, it's why? So we don't know for sure. If they do it, then it'll be a little bit more appealing. If they get the 4K 60p on there, I will raise my eyebrow and say, maybe I would consider it. But if there's no 4K 60p, I mean, I'm just gonna steamroll right to the A7S III at this time, as far as the camera's concerned. Let me know your thoughts down below about this camera. Is it weak? Is it there for you so far, what you're seeing? And are you in the market for it, really? If it's targeted towards the YouTuber and vlogger community, are you really in the target market for this, or are you considering something completely different? And that was a wind chime, a chime somewhere. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out my other content, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.